by the Old Bakery venue here in Truro, and this is where we film Obtv. It's been a really special week for venues such as the Old Bakery because this week has been Independent Venue Week. Independent Venue Week celebrates independently owned venues across the entire country. These venues are incubators for new talent that can one day take on the world. A place for bands to learn their craft, to try new ideas to see what works and what doesn't, and a place for them to build a loyal fan base. Here at the Old Bakery, we're proud to support Cornish talent. Nationally known acts such as the Resner and the Velvet Hands started their journey here on this stage. In the last 12 months, the pandemic has had a devastating impact on the live music and performance scene. Sadly, we're not able to bring you thrill-filled shows here at the Old Bakery to celebrate Independent Venue Week. We do hope you enjoy this special show. We hope it will remind you of all the good times you've had watching live music and value the importance of these independent venues. First up, we have the Resner with Mickey.
Well, I think she likes me, and I think she's everything I need. I won't let her entice me now, but with a northern accent it's highly likely. Well, I think she likes me, and I think she's everything I need. I won't let her entice me now, but northern accent is highly likely. Well, I think she likes me, and I think she likes me. Well, I think she likes me. Well, I think she likes me. She's taking me out for the day. Ice cream and sandwiches, she says. We sit in silence as we look to danger by wine and codeine. Well, this is what the people say. Well, 'cause I think she likes me. I think she's everything I need. I won't let her entice me now. The golden accent is highly likely. I think she likes me. 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 Well, I can't get this girl out of my head. Tried it, guts in a van and van. We watch the green stocks fall down the covers with brush our teeth. And this is what the people say. Well, 'cause I think she likes me. I think she's everything I need. I won't let her entice me now. And all the night says highly likely. I think she likes me. And I think she likes me. 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 Hey, she likes me. She likes me. She, I think she likes me.
We've done every Independent Venue Week at the Old Bakery, where we're filming right now, since 2018, I think it's been, and every year it's just got progressively crazier and crazier. And I think that's not just happening here, it's happening for up-and-coming bands all over the UK. So I think it's such an amazing opportunity for the bands, to boost those bands that are just about on the verge of breaking, and those just coming in, supporting those bands that are just coming in breaking. Yeah, I think it's great, and it's been great for us as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's best week of the year, I'd say. Like, the people have passion for it and they come out and support venues, which is nice to see.
I'm Sarah Gosling, I present BBC Music Introducing in the Southwest, and I love new music and I shout about it all the time, basically, whether people like it or not. To me, Independent Venue Week means a week of just widespread acknowledgement of how important our venues are. Like, can you think of any other types of venue that have a week, dedicated to them? And it is because they deserve it, because they need it, because they are the lifeblood of communities where often quite marginalised groups within the community can come in and make friends and find amazing stuff that they love, and we get to have a party to show it off, which is nice. what makes a great venue is the reasons behind having the venue, you know? Like, some people have a very misguided idea that you go into a venue to make money, and that is not what you're doing. You're making a venue because you want a place to showcase music and performances you like. You want to show it off, so someone who cares is essentially it. People who will put the time in, which is a lot of time, and the effort booking amazing artists and looking after them and like pushing it. I think in terms of helping smaller up and coming bands, they do everything. I mean, when you think about it, they are kind of the local seal of approval. When you've got a band playing at a respected venue, people who trust the venue's choices will go and see that band. They will see that artist, and not having that kind of immediate feedback, I think for artists at the moment has been really difficult. Like an artist like Suki, for example, she's done amazingly over the past year. You know, she's been played on Radio 1, played on 6 Music, but she still hasn't performed live. And so I think that does give an element of nervousness to an artist because they haven't had that feedback from the audience. Favourite gigs that I've done in a small venue would be one at Old Bakery, not just sucking up either. Did the Independent Venue Week show down there last year, and we had Velvet Hands, Resna, Milo Gore and the Eyelids performing. It was amazing, and we did it as a live broadcast on the Saturday, and it proper went off. There was like crowd surfing and moshing, it was sick. And the other one was Childcare, a band who I really like, playing at the Junction in Plymouth. And they did like a guided meditation midway through. They were like, everyone just breathe next to the person with you. And it was so weird, but it was total genius. So good. First gig I ever went to properly, like proper got tickets for, was hyped for, was Paramore, my loves, over at the arena in Cardiff. And I cried when Hayley Williams walked out on stage, and have basically never kept my chill about her since. It was really cool. I miss gigs loads. I miss them loads and loads and loads. It's one thing that is nice, and I will say, is because I work Friday and Saturday evening, so usually I have to literally run from my show to a gig and then I catch the last song. So I'm not missing that, but I am very much missing getting to hang with my mates and jam and have a boogie. I'm hoping Independent Venue Week 2022 will be everything we hoped this one, and maybe even the last one, would be, combined in a giant party of loads of amazing gigs, because we've all missed it so much. And you know, there's been so many campaigns and petitions trying to look out for our venues and our artists, that I'm hoping we're just going to be really grateful, thankful next year. Just so happy to be there supporting these amazing places.
One that really stands out for me was the Thekla in Bristol. I saw the Always Always, I think, or the Double V, and they were amazing live. The whole atmosphere being very intimate, and I think you get that quite often with independent venues. It's like an amazing intimate experience that you don't get at like a stadium or a big theatre. Yeah. It's more special.
Weapons are hidden on your shelf. I'll watch that fire burn you out. I stand there in silence, wondering why the words never leave my mouth. So I bleach my hair as a cry for help. This is I want you now, not when you need yourself. This is your silent suffering. You play this game on your own, thinking you're unworthy of love. But darling, you're not alone. It's silent suffering. Ooh. This is your silent suffering. You play this game on your own, thinking you're unworthy of love, but darling, you're not alone. It's a silent suffering. You play this game on your own, thinking you're unworthy of love, but darling, you're not alone. It's a silent
Hi, I'm Kath. I own the Old Bakery in Truro and run the venue and the studios above it. I'm incredibly proud of this business and the venue that we have built up here. We're a huge creative hub and this is where we run all of our shows. What made me want to open a venue was the fact that when we cleared the ground floor of the Old Bakery, we had a show wanting to come in here, the Bowie Lounge, and it was just an old factory warehouse floor, filthy. No infrastructure at all, and we all just decided to make it happen. So when we did that night, we just had a wallpaper pasting table as a bar at the back, and there was 100 people in here laughing, singing, crying, and it was a phenomenal show, and the buzz off it was amazing, and we just really got the bug. And I think I spent most of my 20s in venues of similar size, seeing everything they could possibly put on, from all the indie to comedy to anything really. So I think I just forgot how much I love being in that environment. We're used to quite a big fun challenge in business because of running quite a fun big company. We came across the Old Bakery when there were some studios here, but there was no venue to speak of, just an old factory ground floor, and it all evolved naturally really, and we just chipped away at the work here, cleared it out. I think we're quite proud of the figure of 20 flatbed lorries worth of rubble. So the experience of having a venue is, it is quite hairy most of the time in some ways, in that everything is completely great and fine if everything is thought of and done as it should be for that event, and every type of night here is very different, so there's just a lot of detail. So the kind of shows you can see here vary from comedy, so we do a cabaret seated layout. The shows can vary from a one-man, one-woman show with an audience of 40 to full standing 250. The venue is the crew. The crew is the show. You can't, underestimate how many people and how much passion and work goes into pulling off a good night, and everyone has one core thing in common. We're all genuinely huge, passionate music fans. If I had to pick one that left me beaming for the longest time afterwards, I would probably pick the Total Stone Roses, just to see that much euphoria with every single word being sung by every single person in the entire space, relentlessly, all the way through to the end, was just wonderful.
Princess Pavilion in Falmouth, I've seen some amazing gigs there from The Fall, the Buzzcocks, Wild Beasts, Alt J played there. One personal favourite, Adam Ant played there, which was brilliant. And yeah, it's just a bit of a legendary venue really, and they're just so important, these sort of grassroots venues, because without them, as we all know, they just don't, there's no platform for local musicians.
1, 2, 3. For my sins I paid those years ago, Lordy, for my sins I paid, I know. Choice I made those years ago, for that choice I made, I know I ain't coming home. There's been no night to pass where I found an answer. No days have come and gone and held the truth. For a deed like mine deserves no after, for what I did and what I put them through. Oh, there's a more kind of stain just where my sins have laid. There's a mark, there's a stain just where they laid. Oh, there's a trail of pain I left along the way, and for that trail I left along the way, I won't see the day. I sure no care for. I will pay my share for what's old those years ago. What's old those years ago. Lord, I just can't forget it like thought I would. Lord, I just can't, oh how I thought I would. Well, I wear my shame just like the chain and hood. Lord, I wear my shame just like the hood for what I did. There's been no night to pass where I found an answer. No days have come and gone and held the truth. For a deed like mine deserves no ever after. For what I did and what I put them through. Oh, there's a mark and a stain just where my sins have laid. There's a mark, there's a stain just where they lay. Oh, there's a trail of pain I left along the way, for that trail I left along the way, I won't see the day.
Hi, I'm Brendan. I'm a sound engineer and music producer. My company's called Cornish Underground. I work specifically at the Old Bakery studios for their live gigs and for Old Bakery TV. A rundown of a day at a gig normally starts quite early, where I'm loading my van from home or my lockup. When I get into the venue, I'm normally the first in. I'm normally subsequently the last one out as well. And I'll set the gear up. It might take an hour or two to do that, sound test the levels, check the monitors, bring them out. The band will arrive, they will set the gear up on stage, they will eventually start a sound check and we'll dial in all the monitors so they can hear themselves clearly on stage. And at the same time do a little bit of front of house testing, give them, I know, a song or two or three even with a rig set up like that until they're happy. Thumbs up, they're happy, I'm happy. And then next band, next band, next band, sound checking. And then there's normally not much time between sound check when the bands start, and I just reset the desk for whichever band's playing. And off we go. The gig happens, 2-3 hours, 4 hours sometimes, maybe more sometimes. And then pack down, go home. But it's normally a long day, most gigs are a long day, kind of. What makes a good sound engineer, I think, is many things, but I think the overriding one for me is probably communication, and actually gaining trust with your band, with the other members, professional members in the crew, but particularly the band, so they're happy to talk about what they want. They're happy to talk about what they've got in the monitor. They're happy to talk about what sound they want out front of house, and generally just keep the vibe going, keep everyone happy. Yeah, keep it running smooth. I think I get the same buzz as the band's gigs because they're getting the reciprocating vibe from the audience. I'm getting the vibe from the band and the speakers coming towards me. And yeah, the band and I vibe. You know, if it's a good gig, after the gig we'll be best mates. This venue is so special because of its feel. Sometimes it's not just the gig. Sometimes it's about arriving, it's about your surroundings, and it's like, well, I think I could party in this place, and I think lots of people think the same. They come in and think, well, this is the place where I can have fun. But I think for the Old Bakery and for one of those moments you have to pinch yourself at a gig would have been one of the independent venue gigs, and it was the Resonor. I was standing up by the mixing console and it was going off so much. I was just like waves and waves of this euphoria, crowd surfing. It just felt like the venue was definitely becoming, if not an iconic venue. There was so much of a buzz about the place.
The Cooler Bar for years, I worked in there for years, and I mean at the height, I suppose the early 2000s, there was music every night of the week. You know, there was hip hop, there was drum and bass nights, there was jelly jazz nights, there was live music nights, and it was a time when there was something good on and it was packed every night, you know, and that was a real heyday, and I'd like to see live music and all that other music sort of get back to that again, you know, people going out.
Well, I'm driving past scenes that I tried to forget about my hometown. Past the dirty old signs on the streets where we raced ourselves. Round the corner past the park where we'd hang until the dawn, till we were too tired to care anymore. I remember how your daddy used to shout when you came back home. And I hated that place, and I hated him. And we swore that we'd leave someday, but we were younger then. And we would go driving to escape that house. It was never big enough. You'd start calling and I'd come running by, spending our summers trying to chase the light that never reached this town. And the darkness got the best of us this time around. Well, I found our names in a tree that we used to climb, scratched in the trunk at the bottom of a southern pine, where you tell me the things that you wished for when you closed your eyes at night. But the mornings are cold and your dad is home, and your hopes fade without a fire. And I hated that place, and I hated him. And we swore that we'd leave someday, but we were younger then. And we would go driving to escape that house. It was never big enough. You'd start calling and I'd come running by, spending our summers trying to chase the light that never reached this town. And the darkness got the best of us this time around. And I remember the day that they drove me away, my face pressed to the glass in the back of my father's car. Man, I tried, but they wouldn't let me stay. I was always so good at picking up the pieces of you. And I swung by our house, but the lights were out. The door was busted and the paint was scarred. There was broken glass lying by a rusty old bike where he had left it in the yard. And a sign read foreclosed at the side of the road, cracked and faded in the sun. And your own neighbor said he ain't seen nobody in years, but if he hears he'll pass it on. And I hated that place, and I hated him. And we swore we'd leave someday, but we were younger then. And we would go driving to escape that house. It was never big enough. You'd start calling and I'd come running by, spending our summers trying to chase the light that never reached this town. And the darkness got the best of us this time around.
Hi, I'm Julian Abel and I'm the music booker here at the Old Bakery, and I also am the in-house promoter. My day is quite mixed really, from actually finding the acts, dealing with agents, the actual gig itself where I've got to make sure that everything goes well, that the bands are happy, sending out information to everybody to make sure they're all at the right place at the right time. It's pretty varied. In terms of running a gig, the crew or the team are absolutely crucial. Brendan McCreel, our sound guy, is just spot on. He gets perfect sound in here. And if you're a band, if I was looking at this from a band management point of view, you know, you want your band to play a venue where they're seen at their best, which they're a band, they do music, so that's the sound basically. And if they're confident that the sound in the venue is good, then they can go on and perform. You can have a great night, a great performance for the band. Everybody's happy. I mean, beyond sound, the lighting adds to it as well. The lighting actually makes a massive difference, particularly with high octane bands where you've got, like, you know, the white flashes going off and da-da-da-da. It makes it really exciting. We've just got a fantastic team here. I feel very lucky to be working with them. I'll tell you that my favourite gig here recently was William the Conqueror, which is Ruari Joseph and his band. They were just stunning. I've never seen a band so tight in all my life. The rhythm section was scarily good. And yeah, that was my favourite gig by quite a long way actually. We're very lucky down here to have quite a vibrant local music scene, and Truro College have been very successful in bringing through really successful local artists. So we've had like the Velvet Hands, who are like national now. The Resna are getting a real buzz on them. You've got Bailey Tompkinson, who's you know, doing well in country charts. You've got Daisy Clark. Yeah, so then you've got Falmouth University with their Amata set up down there, which is all the performance stuff. So there's been the likes of Lost Dawn did very well in an early wave. You've had Ida coming through. There's a lot of talent basically coming from there and from Truro College, and generally as well. You know, there's a lot of music in the soul of Cornwall. And so we try to put on as many of these indie gigs as we can that will work, that will pull people. Particularly successful with the Independent Venue Week gigs. They've been rammed out. We've run about 3 of those now. And they're all local talent. We don't bring anyone in from outside. And yeah, we do what we can really.
I don't know why we see these changes. I don't know why my hands are shaking. I feel fine if I'm feeling nothing. So stay quiet, please don't tell me something I don't want to hear. And I was standing in the front row, everyone elbow to elbow, and we're all hypnotized. No more space in my mind, let's stop time. And I was standing in the front row, and all the enemies I let go, and we're all hypnotized. No more space in my mind, let's stop time. I don't know, while I'll only listen to the words when it's just you speaking. Uncontrolled, well I guess we're all just crazy. In this room, nothing else could faze me. And I was standing in the front row, space in my mind, let's stop time. And I was standing in the front row, and all the enemies I let go, and we're all hypnotized. No more space in my mind, let's stop time. Oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. Stop me, hypnotizing, let's stop time. Try hypnotized. No more space in my mind, let's stop time. And now we're standing in the front row, and all the enemies are let go, and we're all hypnotized. No more space in my mind. Try and stop me, hypnotizing. Let's stop time. And now we're standing in the front row, and all the enemies are let go, and we're all hypnotized. No more space in my mind. Let's stop time.
Yeah, they mean everything really. It's like we were talking about it earlier about how, because through lockdown we've been doing quite a lot and getting new fans, but it won't really feel like we've got them until we can go to, I don't know, like Leeds or Glasgow or wherever and just see a room full of people who know all the tunes. And that's like the best feeling really, because you know, Instagram's like great, but getting likes through isn't quite the same as people like singing your songs.
We hope you've enjoyed Obtv's Independent Venue Week special. To play us out, we have the Velvet Hands with Star.